Space. Time. Reality. It's more than a linear path. It's a prism of endless possibility.
Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all.
I was promised an army.
You have a super soldier.
You sure don't seem too freaked out about all this, kid. What you doing out there all by yourself anyway?
Exploring the world.
Sounds fun. But why stop at one world when we can show you all of them?
I am the Watcher. I am your guide through these vast new realities. Follow me and dare to face the unknown. And ponder the question, what if?
Give me the tour.
Shifting to Marvel Studios' first animated series, coming to Disney Plus next summer, What If? Flips the script on the MCU, taking famous events from the films and reimagining them in unexpected ways. We've assembled a stellar voice cast with many MCU stars reprising their roles. Here's a look at What If.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new Marvel What If trailer video for the new series that's coming next year. I'll explain what's going on with the episodes, who's coming back, and how they're breaking all the different movies up, because they're doing one episode for each MCU movie that they've done so far, and probably in future seasons, the future Marvel Phase 4 movies as well. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We're doing a Disney Plus giveaway for memberships. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know which What If episode you're most excited for, which MCU movie. Really curious to see how they adapt Marvel Zombies, because obviously that's going to be one of the Avengers episodes, just based on the people's costumes. But really important stuff first, there'll be 10 episodes total. It's releasing next summer. They didn't say exactly when, but it'll be a couple weeks after the Loki episodes have released, and Loki starts in May, so it'll run till they release Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings at the beginning of July. So I'm assuming that the Marvel What If episodes will start just a little while after Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings hits theaters. So like the middle of July. And I know we haven't seen a trailer for Shang-Chi yet, but we'll get a trailer for that pretty soon. Most of the MCU actors are coming back to play their characters. They showed off a big one-sheet back at Comic-Con last year. That's also probably been updated because they probably signed some more deals since then. But they've been working on this series for the past year. That's why all the episodes are getting ready to go. The animation looks great. It almost looks like Spider-Verse animation. But if you don't know who's playing the Watcher, it's Jeffrey Wright. They announced him at Comic-Con last year. His voice probably sounds familiar because it's so identifiable, and he's been showing up on so many HBO series recently. But as you can see from the footage, it seems like they're jumping around in the MCU timeline with the way they do the episodes. So even though they're doing one episode for every MCU film, they're not going in a linear fashion, doing the Phase 1 movies and the Phase 2, Phase 3. Season 1 will be a mixture of Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3 movies. But his dialogue obviously highlights the Infinity Stones. He says, space, time, reality, it's more than a linear path. It's a prism of endless possibility. Talking about the multiverse, they kind of got into that during Avengers Endgame with the multiple timelines. The big twist of the Loki series is that it's Loki going after a bunch of alternate versions of himself with different timelines, because the Time Variance Authority caught on to him when he stole the Space Stone and started jumping around, messing with events in world history. I've already done a big video for the Loki trailer, so I'll link it in the description and at the end of this. But if you couldn't tell, the reason why it looks like there are a bunch of different Lokis in that is because there are a bunch of different Lokis. He's both the hero and the villain of that series. And when I say they're doing multiple alternate versions of Loki, that also includes female Loki from the comics. I think a lot of people didn't read the comics, so they didn't understand why there's a female version of Loki out there. I believe they're also doing Kid Loki and other older versions of Loki as well, so more versions than just the different Tom Hiddleston versions. If it sounds like Rick and Morty in the MCU, that's because it kind of is. The showrunner of the Loki series actually came from Rick and Morty right before he started doing the series. But then you get the dialogue saying, "I am the Watcher, I am your guide through these vast new realities. Follow me and dare to face the unknown and ponder the question, what if?" The dialogue is actually taken from the beginning of all the Marvel What If comic books. Like at the beginning of most Marvel comic books, there's some kind of intro or some sort of opening crawl that tells you what's been happening to kind of pick you up on the series if you're jumping in mid-run. The speech from the Watcher was at the beginning of all the What If comics. But just going through the footage shot by shot, it seems like we start with Nick Fury finding Captain America's shield in the ice. I'm assuming that this is during the events of the first Avengers movie. Then there's a scene of T'Challa, Star-Lord, doing all the same scenes from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie when he was on Morax stealing the Power Stone. This seems like it's a Guardians of the Galaxy episode, and what they've swapped is that it's T'Challa instead of Peter Quill that winds up being Star-Lord. There will eventually be a Black Panther episode. The plot of that will probably be very different and take place in Wakanda on planet Earth. Then we have Doctor Strange activating the Time Stone inside the Eye of Agamotto during the first Doctor Strange movie. Then there's Nick Fury inside what seems like Project Pegasus from the first Avengers movie when he says, "Well, that doesn't sound ominous. That might be the scene when Loki arrives through the portal in the Tesseract." Then we see Peggy Carter getting the super soldier serum during the events of the first Captain America movie instead of Steve Rogers, becoming Captain Britain. The reason why they don't call her Captain America is because she's part of the British Army, not the American Army. So when she's attacking this convoy, she's wearing the Captain Britain costume, but they've also painted Captain America's shield to look like a British flag because she's Captain Britain. So I'm assuming that there is no Captain America in this timeline. Then Yondu and the Ravagers arrive in Wakanda to pick young T'Challa up and take them with them. Either he's Ego the Living Planet's son in this reality, or they have some way of explaining how Peter Quill isn't the one to go with the Ravagers in this scene. Chadwick Boseman was listed on the cast, so I don't know if he recorded his dialogue before he passed away or if they got another actor to come in and dub his dialogue for him. I'm sure Marvel will explain when the actual episodes come out next summer. They confirmed that Michael Rooker is back to play Yondu during the series. He basically tells young Star-Lord, "Why don't you come with us and explore the universe?" Then this is Doctor Strange at the beginning of the first Doctor Strange movie when he first comes to the Ancient One to learn magic. Him going through the same cosmic tour of the multiverse that she sent him on before. Then we see Captain Britain riding the World War II version of Iron Man's armor, built by Howard Stark, worn by this version of Steve Rogers. So in this reality, Steve Rogers winds up becoming Iron Man, Peggy Carter winds up becoming a version of Captain America. Because it's World War II though, and they haven't really gotten to this point of miniaturization in modern day with the newer Iron Man armors, it's built to look like a tank. It almost looks more like the Ironmonger armor. I don't know what their explanation is going to be for why Steve Rogers doesn't get the super soldier serum. They'll have some way of explaining that twist. Then this scene of Winter Soldier fighting zombie Captain America seems like it's coming from Avengers Infinity War because he's wearing his costume from Infinity War. So it sounds like the Marvel Zombies episode is the Infinity War episode of What If. Then a real big twist, this seems like an evil shadow twin of Doctor Strange manifesting for some reason during the events of the first Doctor Strange movie. That's what this thing behind him is. You see it later in the trailer when they're battling each other. Just an evil version of him comes to life. The director of the first Doctor Strange movie, Scott Derrickson, said that when they were trying to envision what Dormammu was going to look like during the first Doctor Strange movie, they said that they thought of him as sort of an evil aspect of Doctor Strange. Like he was meant to portray himself as if he was some sort of evil mirror for Doctor Strange. And even though he's this giant extra-dimensional being, that's just the way he looked to Doctor Strange. So when you see Doctor Strange fighting this evil version of himself, that could have something to do with that original idea from the first Doctor Strange movie. This is a scene of Loki and the Asgardians addressing the United Nations. It's also probably from the events of the first Avengers movie or the first Thor movie because there's a couple scenes in here from an episode that's based on the first Thor movie. This part of the sanctum Doctor Strange walks into just looks like a larger version of the library than we saw during the first movie. The sanctum is this multi-dimensional nexus point, and it's also kind of like the TARDIS from Doctor Who, bigger on the inside. I wouldn't be surprised if it's as big as the Avengers Tower if you were to actually see it as it really exists. This is just more scenes from that first Guardians of the Galaxy movie Inside Nowhere when they're taking the Power Stone to the Collector. The episodes themselves are probably only going to be about a half an hour long, maybe a little bit less than that. So when they're doing the plots of all these different movies in the episodes, we'll see how quickly they speed through stuff. This scene of Hawkeye is from the events of the first Thor movie when he's in his perch watching Thor trying to steal his hammer back for the first time. Then we get a confirmed Iron Man episode. This is Iron Man and the Donut from the events of Iron Man 2, so it sounds like their Iron Man episode during Season 1 is the Iron Man 2 episode. There were all kinds of rumors about Robert Downey Jr. coming back to reprise his character, but he's also been doing interviews saying that he's done everything he could with it, so I don't know if he's actually going to be him in the episodes, or they just got someone that sounds like Robert Downey Jr. to be Iron Man for these. It's really hard to tell when this scene of Captain Marvel is happening, which movie it's from, if it's from one of the Avengers episodes, like the Marvel Zombies episode, or if they're doing a Captain Marvel episode from her movie, because she's already got the costume on, and she didn't really get that till the very end of her first movie, or even really learn about how her powers worked. This is just another scene of Captain Britain in the Howling Commandos doing the same charge-in scene from all the trailers for the first Captain America movie. This is obviously Thor from the events of the first Thor movie, running in to try and pick up the hammer for the first time after learning that S.H.I.E.L.D. had found it. This scene also seems like Doctor Strange from the events of his first movie, with Christine Palmer, their Rachel McAdams character, who's also coming back for Doctor Strange 2. They actually just announced that. It seems like he's been fighting his alternate shadow twin, and whatever's going on between them with their full-blown wizard battle, it's led to the utter destruction of the world. Like, look at the crumbling New York City skyline behind them. One of the funnier things about those classic Marvel What If comics is that a lot of them had really, really dark endings. Then I love this scene of T'Challa Star-Lord talking to Howard the Duck going on a tour of the Collector's Fortress. All right, give me the tour. But like I said, obviously this is just a fraction of the MCU movies. There have been 22, 23 so far if you include Spider-Man Far From Home. Obviously Black Widow's coming up. They intend to do episodes for every single MCU movie. That also includes the Spider-Man movies. So Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man 3, which kind of seems like a Spider-Verse episode. It'd be funny if they actually did an animated episode with all the Spider-Verse characters showing up in that. But because there's only 10 episodes during Season 1, that pretty much confirms that they will be doing multiple seasons of What If. If you didn't see my other Marvel trailer videos for all these upcoming Disney Plus series, what's happening is they're going to be dropping 3 to 4 Disney Plus Marvel series every single year, but not all the shows are going to get Season 2. Some of them will just be limited miniseries. Of course, I'll be doing episode videos for all this stuff. I'm really excited to see what it actually looks like, what they actually do with some of these characters, given that it's What If. It's pretty much anything goes. I've still got a couple other big trailer videos from the past week to do, and we have The Mandalorian Season 2 finale. My video for that will post on Friday just like normal, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of those videos. Congratulations, David Go, you're the giveaway winner from my last big Marvel trailer video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your contact details. Everyone click here to rewatch that Loki trailer a billion more times, and click here for my new Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 7 video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.